G'day and welcome to this follow-up episode, a special episode of the Spotlight Series Player Watch. Today we are watching and at the moment, while just at the time of recording, waiting on the men's doubles finals that no one saw coming at all. It's come out of nowhere between two wildcard entries and two unseeded players, and guess what? They're both Australian. Matthew Ebden and Matthew Purcell are up against the other side of the net. They'll be facing classy Thana, Kokkinaki and box office Nick Kyrgios. And it's these two blokes we're going to be focusing on in this episode, Kokkinaki and Kyrgios, the special Ks. They have rewritten the rule book this Australian Open Grand Slam. We're going to be doing an expose on these two blokes. This is the first All-Australian men's doubles final in 42 years, since 1980, not since the Supermax, who were just starting out their doubles journey, became champions later on. The Supermax, Peter McNamara, Paul McNamee, were defeated on that occasion by Kim Warwick and Mark Edmondson. And stay tuned, we are going to do an expose on Kokkinaki and Kyrgios, the special Ks. Don't go away, we'll be right back after these sights, sounds, summer of tennis on this Australian Open Life. G'day, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate your company. If you're still on your summer break, well done you. And if you're back at work or back at the home office, come on. Have we got a special episode for you today? We've already had a look at the quiet achievers, the double M's, Matthew Ebden, Max Purcell. We took a look at them earlier today, and tomorrow they'll be facing Thana, Kokkinaki, classy Thana, and box office Nick Kyrgios. And what we're going to do in this episode, if you're a loyal listener of this Australian Open Life, and there's a few of you out there, and you're all around the globe, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate the opportunity to keep you company on your desktop, laptop, mobile device, wherever you have a smart TV in any room of your home. We're there with you, keeping you company. And it's our pleasure today with this episode. We're going to tell you all about the journey of classy Thana, Kokkinaki and box office Nick Kyrgios. We're going to tell you exactly in this episode how on earth did these two blokes come to be in the men's doubles finals. They're not doubles specialists. Come on, let's get serious. These blokes are serious singles players, but somehow Nick Kyrgios, he has snuck through, courtesy of Tennis Australia, with his third wild card, if you don't mind, of the summer, the Australian summer. So stay tuned, have a look at these sights, sounds, summer of tennis from around Melbourne Park, taken during the last 2 days of qualifying for those players that were looking to get a main draw entry into the Australian Open. And we will be right back after this break. G'day, thanks for joining us on this Australian Open Life. This is the Spotlight Series Player Watch, and we're shining a spotlight In fact, we're finding it hard to get a bit of elbow room to shine a spotlight on these two blokes. The Special K's, Kyrgios, box office Nick Kyrgios, and Kokkinaki, classy Tanasi Kokkinaki. They are singles players. What are they doing in the men's doubles final? Well, if you stay tuned for this segment of this Australian Open Life, we'll tell you all about it. How on earth did these two blokes make it through to the men's doubles final? It is an all-Australian final. These two blokes, the Special Ks, they'll be facing off against Matthew Ebden. He is no slouch with a racket. He's been around the trap since 2006, and he's a seasoned pro. And he's partnering the up-and-coming Max Purcell recently at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics in September 2021. These are strange times indeed, and what better time to bring you up to date with how the Special Ks, one from Canberra, one from Adelaide, how on earth did they come to be in the men's doubles final on Saturday, the 29th of January 2022. That's tomorrow, local time. So let's go through it. Round one, court three. Kokkinaki, Kyrgios. My goodness, two wildcards facing two wildcards. Two Australians facing two Australians. It was Kokkinaki and Kyrgios, straight sets winners over fellow wildcard entries from Australia, McCabe and Alex Bolt. And they had a comfortable win in an hour and 11 minutes, 6-4, 6-2 if you don't mind. But the match that mattered, the match that grabbed all the headlines, and if you have been keeping a lazy eye on the headlines in the sports pages since this match, you will know that Kokkinaki and Kyrgios, the Special Ks, they have been lighting up. They have been lighting up the box office, and it's all started here. They beat the #1 seeds from Croatia, Pavic and Mektic. They beat them in straight sets. It was a tight first set, 7-6. The Special Ks got through 10 points to 8, and 6-3 in the second set. And we're not going to go into details of the argy-bargy, but it should be... it's no surprise that Kyrgios generated a bit of angst on the other side of the net, and the final words from the Special Ks to their to their stroppy-faced opponents was, "Enjoy your flight home, gentlemen." So we'll leave the headlines for another time. Let's move on to round three, so you can see that that was could they keep it going? And yes, the answer was yes, they can. Much like Barack Obama back in 2008, yes, we can. And in round three, staying on Kia Arena, the new sponsor of the new sunken showcase court, 5,000 seats, 5,000 happy Australians watched the Special Ks go for an hour and 55 minutes, and at the end, against the Spanish language pair of Escobar from Spain, Bahar from Argentina, the 15th seeds, the wildcard entries from Australia got through 6-4, 4-6, 6-4. Another great performance by these guys, and by this stage they're starting to the double act is starting to get their sideshow into gear. They got the crowd on their side. They've got the whipping the crowd up into a frenzy. It's turning from Australian tennis fans are usually pretty respectful and pretty knowledgeable, but they got the beer crowd in. The 5 o'clock beer o'clock crowd started coming in, and they got all the support they could ever ask for, the Special Ks. They're starting to hone their act by the time they got to the quarterfinals back on Kia Arena, and this time they had to sober up because they had a sobering, very testing affair in the quarterfinals. On the other side of the net was the 6th seed, so they're running through the seeds by this stage, the Special Ks. The 6th seeds across the ditch, Michael Venus, the New Zealander, teaming up with the German Tim Puetz, or Puetz. I beg your pardon for the mispronunciation, Tim, but at the end of the day it doesn't really matter, even if Michael Venus did pronounce Nick Kyrgios an absolute knob in the headlines after this match. 7-5, 3-6, 6-3. Thank you very much. They shook hands at the net, but I'm not sure the four of them meant it. And big smiles all over the faces of Kyrgios and Kokkinaki, a mirror image of the wild happiness on the face of every Australian tennis fan after that match. Could they keep it going? And I'll tell you what, did they ever? They came up against the third seed. So don't forget, they've gone through in quick succession the first seeds from Croatia, the Spanish 15th seeds, the Spanish-speaking 15th seeds, the mixed nationality pairing, the 6th seeds, and now they're up against the third seeds. Another pairing of Spanish extraction, Zeballos, beg your pardon, and Granollers, one from Argentina, one from Spain, and at the end of the match, after an hour and 47 minutes, it was the special Ks that fronted up at the net and said, "Gracias, amigos, we'll take it from here." 7-6, a tight first set again, 7-4. They defeated those guys, and 6-4 in the second set, and that's how they got to the men's doubles final on Rod Laver Arena, the All-Australian men's doubles final coming up tomorrow. That is the journey of the special Ks, Classy Tanasi, Kokkinaki, and box office Nick Kyrgios. Now, it'll pay us to just pause for a moment and reflect on some predictions. Who would have thought way back in the first weeks of January, when we started examining who the wildcards were given out to for the Australian Open, weren't we surprised when Nick Kyrgios' name popped up as a wildcard, not just for Sydney, the Sydney Tennis Classic, but also the Melbourne Somerset. And we put out an episode on this Australian Open Live, and we might actually pause there, that we'll go over Nick Kyrgios. How did he get here as a wild card? We might go through that in the next segment after the Sights, Sounds, Summer of Tennis, Melbourne Park, the Australian Open, January 2022. We'll be right back. G'day, welcome back to this special Spotlight Series Player Watch episode from this Australian Open Live. You can see us all around the globe. We're all over the place. We've got video and audio, and we know that we have a large global audience coming in from countries such as America, the UK, Argentina, Spain, Croatia, Slovakia. We've got a couple of New Zealanders watching. We've had people coming up off all sorts of places looking at our wheelchair footage. Shingo Kaneda, he's getting a lot of hits. Our competitor in the ladies wheelchair tennis, she's getting some attention. The German, she's getting some attention. So we know we've got a big global audience starting to evolve, and we really appreciate your company. And we're so sorry that I can't provide any more international coverage in this episode, because it's all about the Aussies. The special case, Classy Tanasi, Kokkinaki from Adelaide, and from Canberra. His mum's Malaysian, his dad's Greek. Box office Nick Kyrgios, what a mixture. So let's get into a little bit of the player behind the stats, is what this segment is all about. And we're going to take our time. Normally we like to shoot through everything pretty quick, but we're going to take our time, because this bloke is making the headlines. This bloke is transforming tennis from a respectful and quiet between the points. So it is like a rock concert, the way these two blokes are whipping up the crowd, and they're getting the headlines. And look, say what you like about Nick Kyrgios, but he gets the bums on the seats, and then all of a sudden they're off the seats again cheering for him. Now, we had no idea when we were looking through the wild cards at this Australian Open Live and doing a couple of episodes about the lead-up tournaments. We saw that name, Nick Kyrgios, and for the life of me, I couldn't work out why he was getting a wild card. He's ranked 93 in the world in the singles. What's he doing being given a wild card in the doubles with his mate from Adelaide? Well, besides getting through, getting the 2 wildcards, which incidentally, Nick Kyrgios did not take up those wildcards because guess what? He pronounced himself laden with COVID, and he pulled out of both of those events that he didn't play. And well, I suppose we're lucky that he got over COVID, because the big bucks question was at the time, does Nick want to control his temperament, or will Nick Kyrgios, box office Nick Kyrgios, be a box office stud during our COVID-ridden Australian summer? Well, he's answered that question in a way that we never could have predicted. Here he is in the men's doubles finals. Tennis Australia, they took a chance on this bloke, and it's paid paid dividends. We thought it might backfire, this sort of publicity that Tennis Australia was trying to generate for the Australian Open. We were thinking, well, is this a way that them trying to get attention off COVID and trying to get sell tickets? But it turns out that although you never know what you're going to get with Nick Kyrgios. We don't think he's a dud, but gee whiz, I tell you what, it was some gamble giving him a wild card for the doubles as well. Maybe that was just a bit of a get well Nick present from Tennis Australia to get over the COVID. But let's get serious and straighten up about Nick Kyrgios. Let's just take a quick look at what makes this bloke tick, the player behind the stats. He's 26. He's a seasoned pro. I was really surprised to see in early January that his singles ranking was 93. Now, because he hasn't been able to back it up, he got through the first 2 rounds in the singles, but he wasn't able to save his rankings points, so his ranking's gone down to 115. In the doubles, he is ranked 259. Now, that's pretty decent for somebody that doesn't really doesn't take things seriously. He's I'm lost for words. He is 6'4", 193 centimetres, 85 Ks. He's been on the pro circuit now for a good 8 years. He's right-handed. He has raked in a very respectable just under $9 million US as a pro, and he's done the bulk of that as a singles player. So he won't mind pocketing a bit of coin as a doubles player. No matter, he's going to get paid very handsomely for making the final, regardless of whether he wins it or not. He's got 6 singles titles, and his win-loss ratio is around about 62%. So, yeah, say what you like about Nick Kyrgios. He's doing it quite nicely, thank you very much, and does not mind the headlines, does not mind speaking his mind. And I don't know if you know, listener, but back in the day when he was a young pro, when he was getting tipped out of the Australian Open, he was actually on Twitter looking for playmates to have pizza with and watch the rest of the slam. He is incredibly laid back and enjoys his, he's all about wanting to enjoy his tennis. And I'll tell you what, he's brought a lot of smiles to a lot of people's faces. He surprised us all last year. At last year's Open, he spoke a lot of common sense, which really took a lot of us by surprise. And this year he's taken us by surprise again, that he's lighting up the stage. So it's going to be a rock concert tomorrow. His game should be on before the ladies' singles final or after it. So what more could you ask for as an Australian tennis fan? You've got an all-Australian men's doubles final. You've got Ash Barty playing Collins, the American, in the ladies singles final. She got over Iga Swiatek, the Pole, who has got form in the winning Grand Slam titles last year, but Iga just could not get over Danielle Collins. So look out. We're going to take a short break. Rather than go straight into the next player profile, we're going to take a short break. Apologies, a slightly longer episode than usual, but trust me, it'll be worth it. Here's some sight, sound, summer of tennis from Melbourne Park. Welcome back. We are into our final segment of this Australian Open Life, shining a spotlight on classy Thana Kokkinaki of Australia. He's partnering box office Nick Kyrgios. What a combination, because when you think about it, these two are a perfect matchup. Tanasi has got his head screwed on straight. He knows what he wants to achieve. He knows how to achieve it. He knows how to put his head down and work hard, but unfortunately, he picked up the wrong set of weights about 5 years ago and absolutely did a big number on his shoulder, and he hasn't been the same ever since. But this summer, he has really had a great summer, Tanasi. We're so happy for him that at the age of 25, he should be shooting well ahead of Nick Kyrgios, to be honest. But injury has just really not been very kind to him. His body hasn't been holding together, but this summer he won his first ATP singles title in Adelaide in front of family and friends. So let's look at the player behind the stats. Tanasi currently has a men's singles ranking of 103. Unfortunately, with his singles wildcard, he wasn't able to get over the line in his first match. He was tossed out of the qualifying round. Round 1, court 3, the German tossed him out in 3 straight sets, 6-2, 6-3, 6-2, the German Hanfmann, who was also a qualifier for that particular qualifying run. So Tanasi, he's 6'4". He's exactly the same as Nick Kyrgios, 6'4", 193 centimetres, 84 Ks, and although he went pro the same year as Kyrgios, he's only got 44% career win rate, plays right-handed, just over $1.5 million in winnings. But he has got, as I said, recently snagged his first singles title, and he has sent Roger Federer packing in the Miami Open a couple of years ago, just before COVID hit. He's got a couple of coaches, and he's got a win-loss record of 37 wins for 48 losses. And Tanasi, if we were to look into his background, he was so happy with his singles title. He wanted to keep the good times rolling. A day after winning his maiden tour level title, he was short on sleep. I bet he was. And he also stretched Stefanos Tsitsipas back in February. He was put in a really dogged effort against Tsitsipas, but he wasn't able to get over the line. We're very happy for him. Great. He's a favourite here of ours at this Australian Open Life, and wish him all the best for 2022, and especially as we come to the end of this particular spotlight player watch spotlight on the special Ks. We wish Thana Kokkinaki. He is classy. He is well prepared, and it's about time that the pendulum swung the right way for this bloke. So best of luck for tomorrow in your first Grand Slam men's doubles finals, as you face Matthew Ebden and Max Purcell, the journeyman, the experienced pro, teaming up with the Olympian from the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. It's going to be a great match. It's going to be a great atmosphere. 15,000 Australians watching 4 Australians fight it out for a Grand Slam title. And look, honestly, it's a cliche, but whoever wins, it's a win for Australian tennis, which is exactly what we wanted, really. We just wanted a great summer of tennis after the most impossible couple of years we've all been through. You've been listening to me, the bloke who walks. I've been banging on about about these young Australians hungry for their first Grand Slam title. And we'll take another short break. We're based in Melbourne, Australia, and to all our listeners all around the globe, we're so grateful for your support. Keep listening, keep watching. You can see us anywhere from any device. You can listen to us via the Acast podcast platform and get your content of these episodes whichever way you choose. We'll be back after the Sights Sounds Summer of tennis at Melbourne Park, the Australian Open, this Australian Open Life. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Hope you enjoyed that very rudimentary summary. I'm not going to pat myself on the back about the quality of this episode. It was really just about bringing together all those names of all those players and just letting you know that that's where things are at, because you know, we live in a digital age, but it's actually sometimes not that easy to find all this information. And the Christmas New Year's break, I mean, who wants to spend all their time looking at endless streams of apps and websites and you know, so let us do all the hard work for you. That's what we're here for. And it's so very much appreciated that we're finding out that from most of the viewers, whether it's by comments or likes or subscriptions, that this Australian Open Live is hitting the mark for you. You've been listening to Bloke Who Walks. This was our Wildcards episode of the Spotlight series. Have a great new year. Thanks for listening, and we'll chat to you very soon. Bye for now. Based in Melbourne, Australia, this Australian Open Life is produced by Wise Words Media and Calumny Films.